The chase towards the chase for the Duracell Cup Series Championship continues on here on the Airstream Sports Channel as we get set for our 60th race of the season. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to the Concrete Monster Mile, known as Dover International Raceway, as we get set to go racing for 60 laps. And, you know, we still got quite a ways to go here in this second half of the regular season, but we're starting to formulate at least a little bit of a picture of the drivers that are looking like they're going to be prime contenders to be in the 16-car chase for the championship. Last week at our road course of Pensacola, we saw Ryan Butcher go to victory lane, so he now becomes our 13th different race winner on the season. And right now, 12 of our 13 previous race winners are inside the top 30 in points. So only 4 drivers right now would come into this race in playoff spots via where they're currently positioned in the point standings. So, you know, obviously a lot more can change once we get to the end of the regular season, and today could be another story or chapter in that story if we have a different driver go to victory lane. Now, this track is a mile in length. It's not a half mile, but it's concrete, which another track we were at was as well, and that was Bristol Motor Speedway. Remember, that was only a half mile short track though. But a driver who did very well on the concrete is our driver that starts on the pole here today, J Quail. Remember, it came down between J Quail, T Wright, and K Mathews really for the win at Bristol. K Mathews, of course, the eventual race winner, but not surprising to see J Quail lay down a lap time fast enough to start him on the pole. He's still looking for his first win of the season. Alongside of him, Jesse Turner. He's trying to go to victory lane for the second time this season to join William Brock and Jordan Lopes as a multi-time winner. And Turner comes into this race currently situated 4th in the point standings, 20 points out of the overall points lead, so he also might have his eyes on that. Let's go down trackside and get the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
Now this track's a little bit longer than Bristol, obviously, but it's only a mile, and it doesn't take them long to get around here. So we're going to quickly bring up the graphic on your screen to show you what the playoff standings look like coming into this race. You've got Ryan Butcher added into the mix now with his win last week. J Millz, the only former winner, still outside the top 30, so he still is not on the playoff grid. And right now, only 4 drivers would be in via points. Those spots currently held by Levi McIntire, Matthew Rodriguez, Dylan Young, and Michael Norman. We also have a battle for the overall points lead coming to this race. A new points leader, William Brock, was able to pass Levi McIntire for the points lead last week at Pensacola. So 8 points difference between those two. Zach Rogers 11 points back, 20 points back. We already mentioned Jesse Turner, and Matthew Rodriguez gained 3 spots in the standings last week and jumped up to 5th. That team's been very consistent the last few weeks, and they're only 25 points out of the overall points lead. So who is Miles the Monster going to gobble up today, and who will be able to conquer the Monster Mile? We're moments away from finding out. 60 laps of racing in the AAA 400 as the field comes off turn number 4 into the restart zone. Green flags in the air. Let's roll. Right out of the gate, you can see the inside line is the fastest way around the track as Quail goes to the lead, Brommer to second, and Ryan Acosta with a big run goes to the inside and will take second place away from Ryan Brommer by the time they exit out of turn 4. They're 3 wide further back, and they're 3 wide up here at the front. Chris Dollerton put in the middle, Turner way up top side. That's Dylan Poteet leading the charge in the bottom. Battle for the lead? Nope, not quite. Let's drop back here again where they're starting to get 3 wide once again. The overall points leader, William Brock's there. Our Kentucky winner, J Shelly. They're all trying to settle it out by the time they get off of turn 4 because battling side by side 3 wide off turn 4 is not exactly smart. It's a very dangerous place to do it. Carter Friesen, another former winner in that mix as well. And there's Vince Almariego in the 42. Almariego was looking like he was going to be one of the drivers to contend for the win last week at Pensacola. And, of course, we ended up finding out later on, courtesy of the NNSCRA split cam, that he ended up completely overdriving a corner and was out of the race, finished dead last after driving into a tire barrier. Ryan Acosta took the lead away from J Quail. Quail wants it back. He'll go back to the inside line. Looking to take the top spot back, and looks like he's got him cleared off 4, so J Quail will go back to the point, and here comes Acosta again with the crossover. I should also mention, because I don't know if necessarily you can tell just by looking at the racing we're having, but Dover International Raceway playing host, one of our stops where the 2019 rules package comes into play, so it's definitely causing some good racing up here at the front as Ryan Acosta, Wyatt Quail keep exchanging it back and forth. Trent Dunham right now in the 4th position. He might lose that as Chris Dollerton dives low. Trent's been steadily climbing his way through the points. He's up to 24th in the standings, but still looking for his first win of the season. First win for his team of Sega Motorsports. And Chris Dollerton, after getting that win in the final regular season race of the first half of the season at Fuel Motorsports Park, boy, that team has really put together some good runs. He ran well at the Coke 600. He ran pretty well last week at Pensacola. He's 27th in the points coming to this race, and now he's up here in the top 5 at Dover, trying to be the 3rd two-time winner on the season. Up front, they just can't decide who's going to lead. Acosta, by a splitter, led that lap on the inside line. Wyatt Quail hanging tough on the outside line, and now it's Mustangs 1, 2, 3 as Chris Dollerton enters the party. Ooh, contact! What a save by Ryan Brommer! Dylan Poteet was all up in his left rear quarter panel. Brommer was facing towards the apron, and I don't know if it was just Brommer that saved it or if Poteet lifted to give him the room, but whatever the case, that could have very easily been a wreck at the front of the field. Tremendous job by those guys keeping it together as we still remain green here at Dover, and I'm actually quite surprised about that too. Most of the races that we come to at Dover, they end up being wreckfests, but so far we've been able to complete 9 laps, and we have yet to see the yellow flag wave. Drop a little bit further back in the field, you see Carter Friesen battling with J Shelly, 2 drivers that have been to victory lane this season, Friesen in the 500 and Shelly at Kentucky. They are battling for, I believe that was the 9th position. Matt Haas there in the 8 as well. Unknown Motorsports had some good runs going on last week with Diego Yepez and... Ooh, contact right there between Garcia and Friesen. Trying to remember who the other car was. Julius Anderson, that's right. Right now, Matt Haas is the highest running of that team. We almost saw a catastrophe take place there between Adam Garcia in the 12, Carter Friesen in the 37. They kept it together, though. Garcia coming into this race still dead last in the points. And Dylan Poteet up here in the 5th position. Last week took one of the scariest rides I think I've seen a car take at a road course. When he made contact with, I'm trying to remember who exactly it was. Might have been Mitchell Collins, but I can't off the top of my head remember exactly who it was. Somebody I remember turned him, though, in the grass through the road course section. He came back up on the rumble strip, and the car flipped over and ended up upside down, stuck in the tire barrier. Because of that finish, he dropped 7 spots in the standings down to 19th, but he's trying to battle back now, currently up inside the top 5 here at Dover is Chris Dollerton, all over the back bumper of Ryan Acosta for the race lead. Ryan Acosta actually had a good run last week. He faded back late because he ended up making contact with, I think it was William Brock, when Brock was coming off pit road. Acosta, I think, was in 2nd at the time, and he ran into the back of William Brock, spun the car around, but he didn't hit anybody else, and he didn't make contact with the wall, so he kept it going. He did manage with his finish to jump up 6 spots in the standings up to 18th, so there's no doubt about it. If he were to close out the deal and win today's race, he would put himself into a position for the playoffs, and he would be the first driver from Joanna Atwood Motorsports to actually go to victory lane this season as well. Closest opportunity they really had so far this season was J Gardner back at Phoenix, and of course he ran out of fuel with 2 laps to go. Right now it's Ford, Ford, Ford. Then you got your first Dodge. Ryan Brommer, good run there in the 9. Did not have a good performance last week as he was basically battling an ill-handling race car. He received damage early on in the race and never really was able to get up there towards the front. But he's doing a good job here today in that 4th position, and we got a battle for 5th between Carter Friesen and Dylan Poteet. Friesen will take the spot. Poteet tries to slot in line in 6th as Trent Dunham thought about getting to the inside and trying to take that position away, and looks like Poteet's having a little bit of difficulty holding the bottom line, as now Trent Dunham's going to challenge. Nope, can't quite put the hammer down there, coming off of turn 4. Driver that had a good run last week as well, really needed it too. Right there, the 25 of Benjamin Miles, the Hertz Chevrolet. He's really the only driver out of Northeast Motorsports that's been struggling this season, at least overall. William Brock, two-time winner. His teammate Ryan Butcher went to victory lane last week. Well, Benjamin Miles last week did manage to do something that I think's been one of their goals, and that's get into the top 30 in points. He jumped from 34th up to 30th in the standings, and right now running the 14th position, looking like this team's got at least somewhat turned around what was a miserable start to the year. And who knows, one thing that I should point out here is they will probably now, since we've been able to keep it together up to this point, they will probably be making green flag pit stops, and this is one of the most difficult pit roads to get onto on the entire schedule. So someone back here, this is also a track where you can do some good fuel savings, so someone back here in the mid-pack area might be saving some fuel and might be able to stretch it a little bit further. Might be able to go with maybe 2 tires and fuel or something like that. You never know. See William Brock up there on that top side fading back. Finished runner-up last week to his teammate Ryan Butcher at Pensacola. That was enough for him to take the overall points lead. And now he's going to take the high road with a little help from Julius Anderson. 3 wide with Anderson, Brock, and Mitchell Collins. And Anderson bumped William Brock into the corner, and believe it or not, the car that went all the way up almost to the wall is going to come away with the highest position out of that battle. Got some battling up front here. That's Adam Garcia to the inside of Matt Haas. That's for 8th. James Shelly right there behind him. As up front, Wyatt Quail makes a move for 2nd on Chris Dollerton. Getting closer and closer to the halfway point, so if we manage to make it past the halfway point before these drivers hit pit road, then we will know for certain that they will only have to make 1 pit stop and be good to go the rest of the way in this race. So it could come down to 1 money stop for these drivers as to who's going to be in position for this victory. You see right there on the entry, the inside line gets the preferred speed. Wyatt Quail pulls ahead by about half a car length on Dollerton, but then watch off the corner as we've gotten into this run, that inside line, the car tightens up and you have to lift or else you're going to go straight up the track into the car on your outside, and that's where Chris Dollerton's able to get back to the throttle and pull alongside on the straightaways. But Wyatt Quail finally working at it and clears Dollerton for 2nd place. Matt Haas trying to get by Carter Friesen. That's for 5th. Looks like he got tight through that corner. Friesen around the outside will keep the 5th position. Now Trent Dunham stuck up on that outside line. It's Adam Garcia will fight him. That is for 8th. Dylan Poteet just took the 7th position away from Trent. Now, Trent had a good run last week, and we mentioned Vince Almariego before he had his hardships last week was up inside the top 10. He was out in front, actually, for a while in that road course race. But I mentioned it last week, and it holds true here today as well. The Sega Motorsports cars putting together good runs once more. Both of them currently up inside of the top 10. Trent currently scored in the 8th position. Almariego currently in 10th. Almariego comes into this race 28th in the points, and Trent Dunham 24th. Drop a little bit further back outside of the top 10. Jesse Turner, we saw him kind of fade back. He's now slotted in 13th place. Mitchell Collins side by side with his teammate Dylan Young. This is a battle for 14th. And how about Matt McIntire? Good run for the 7. As right now he is in the 16th position, trying to work his way up towards the front. But there are drivers here towards the back that really are struggling. Notably, Zach Rogers there in the 6th, who came into this race in the battle for the points lead. Michael Norman, who came in one of the playoff positions via points. His teammate Matthew Rodriguez is well back here. This is about the mid-20s where these drivers are running. Here's our Bristol winner, K Mathews. There's last week's winner, Ryan Butcher. All the way back in 34th position. And even further back is Levi McIntire, who lost the points lead last week. And right now he's in 38th. J Millz still struggling to get that car into the top 30 in points for his win to count towards a playoff spot. And right now he's 39th, and Keith Batson all the way back here in 40th. Last car running, all 40 cars still on track and still on the lead lap as K Friesen thought about taking second, couldn't do it. Wyatt Quail with the big run off turn 4, tried to cross over to the inside on R Acosta. Remember, these are teammates here out of Joanna Atwood Motorsports, the 10 and the 41. So how hard are they going to race each other? Acosta's 18th in points coming into this race. Wyatt Quail is 36th. So the question is, who wants it more? That pace car playing havoc with me being able to cycle through the field is now battled for third. C Dollerton and K Friesen. Friesen's 13th in the points coming into this race. C Dollerton's been able to work his way up in the past 5 weeks from outside the top 30 to 27th in points, and he will not be able to get the third position from Friesen this time. Now the battle is going to be for fifth. M Haas on the inside of R Brommer. Wow, big run there for K Friesen going into turn 3. Can't keep it in the throttle though. Oh, we had trouble on the front straightaway. Contact for the lead. No caution. Someone spun on the front stretch though. And there was smoke and skid marks, but there is no yellow flag. As the battle for the lead is on between Quail and Acosta. And Acosta hanging tough on that inside line. We'll drop towards the back, see if we can find out who it was that spun. But first, I want to see what's going to happen in this battle for the lead. Is now C Dollerton down on the bottom. With them racing side by side at the front, it's kind of wadding everyone else behind them up and putting together some good battles for first, third, fifth on back. Now Friesen dives it to the inside on Dollerton. A little more contact again between teammates. Wyatt Quail not giving up on that bottom line, and he's not really afraid to put the bumper to the left rear quarter panel of his teammate Acosta either. And remember, as all this is going on, we've got to be getting close to those green flag pit stops, I would think, as we will have about 20 laps to go in the next 2 laps. Acosta finally wins out on that battle. Quail has to slap back in second. And J Gardner apparently was the spin on the front straightaway. He's badly damaged now, off the pace. And he might have had some help with last week's winner R Brommer, who you can see also has sustained some left side damage. I don't know if any of these drivers back here were involved as J Jefferson comes to pit road in the 5. I don't know if this is a regularly scheduled stop for him or if he might have been involved in the wreck. And here we go. Wyatt Quail coming to pit lane. Benjamin Miles, Jesse Turner. The green flag pit stops have begun, and they will take place with 20 laps to go. So Wyatt Quail from the second position is the first driver to hit pit road. And now we will see if anyone's going to roll some strategy. Acosta's in, Dollerton, Brommer, Garcia, and Shelly this time. That turns the race lead over, I believe, to Trent Dunham. Yes, it does. So Trent Dunham out in front now, leading a pack of Chevrolets. Friesen, Haas, Poteet, and L Almariego. And Trent's going to come down this time. Friesen's in as well. I don't see anybody from this group that's staying out. Looks like everybody that didn't come in before is coming in this time around. Saw Wyatt Quail there battling with Benjamin Miles coming off pit lane. Was that a battle possibly for the lead? Or was Miles a lap down? Looks like they're scored around the same area, and I think Miles was up inside the top 10 when the pit stops began. This could turn into the battle for the lead. If so, Benjamin Miles' team getting it done on pit road. They still have to catch up here, though, to the 10 of Ryan Acosta, who I believe is leaving pit road with Chris Dollerton right there. They're going to have a big run through 3 and 4, though. They may be able to get by him pretty easily. And Benjamin Miles' team is the one that stepped up, and it looks like they're going to be the one that gain a lot of positions off of pit road and put their driver in a position to possibly win this race. Is now on the fresher tires. Wyatt Quail will go to the race lead, or does he? Remember, Trent Dunham was the leader when the pit stop cycles began, but he's getting held up by the 14 of Gardner, who is damaged and off the pace. Where does Gardner go? Does he stay up on the outside, or does he go low? That's interesting. He went up high, and he blocked his 2 teammates. The 2 drivers that are going to get hurt from the 14 moving up are his teammates Quail and Acosta. Trent Dunham and Benjamin Miles going to battle for the lead now at the front. And I believe that the field will have cycled through off their pit stop, so we'll try and give you a through the field as we close in on 15 laps to go. Benjamin Miles takes the lead. He'll go to the top spot. Trent Dunham falls back to second. Dollerton now in third. Ryan Acosta fourth. Wyatt Quail in fifth. Sixth place now Ryan Brommer. Seventh is Jesse Turner. James Shelly in eighth. Ninth is Matt Haas, and Carter Friesen completes the top 10. J Jefferson was one of the first cars to hit pit road. He's now up in 11th. 12th is Carson Gum. 13th place Michael Norman. Dylan Poteet fell back to 14th. And right now 15th is Adam Garcia. 16th Matt McIntire. 17th Vince Almariego. 18th K Mathews. 19th Cole Baker. And completing your top 20 is Mitchell Collins. Dylan Young is 21st. Seth Cole 22nd. 23rd Charles Sandfer. William Brock battling with the two-time winners, actually both battling each other, is Brock's in 24th and Lopez in 25th. 26th is going to be Jack Mitchell. Going to give him a little bit of space from the pace car there. 27th, Julius Anderson. Benny Watson's in 28th. 29th, Trey Wright. Matthew Rodriguez in 30th. Shelton's 31st. 32nd, McIntire. Qualls in 33rd. Keith Batts in 34th. 35th is Austin LaPlante. Zach Rogers back in 36th. 37th is J Millz, and I believe he is the last car on the lead lap. As off the lead lap are the cars of Ryan Butcher, Johnny Gardner. They are both 1 lap down. And Diego Yepez currently scored 4 laps down and currently running in dead last as he's now coming off of pit road. So they must have had to either make an unscheduled stop or a lengthy pit stop. And I thought I saw the caution lights on, but I might be wrong as Wyatt Quail now takes the lead. Caution is indeed out. First caution of the day, and we've got another couple of cars on pit road. One was the slower car of Johnny Gardner. The other was the 7 of Matt McIntire. And we will get a restart with less than 10 laps to go. And they're saying that Benjamin Miles did get Wyatt Quail at the start-finish line at the time the caution came out. So the 25 is currently the race leader. And he will be the one out in front when we go back green. There is the 7 of Matt McIntire as they leave the entire hood and front bumper in the pit stall. They took the rear deck lid off the 14 of Johnny Gardner. And let's go back and take a look and see what brought out our caution for the first time today in the closing stages of today's race at Dover. Going down to turn 3, Johnny Gardner. Gardner kind of gave the room there to Matt McIntire, and McIntire decided to take the middle line into the corner. Got Gardner in the left rear quarter panel and hard up into the wall. Ooh, almost got William Brock in the 88. And somehow we got away with that just being a 2-car incident. But, I can't really fault Johnny Gardner on that one. And I think Jordan Lopez and Charles Sandfer, they may have both had to dive to pit road to avoid the wreck. I don't think they came to pit road on their own. No, they went down low to avoid. And then watch this. This is the problem. They came down low to avoid both Matt McIntire and Johnny Gardner. And watch this. They notice, oh, wait, we crossed the line and we're on the inside of the commitment line. William Brock did as well, and he stayed out. I don't know if he might not get a penalty. Sandfer and Lopez, they were smart enough to realize they had already gone below the commitment box. They had to come to pit lane, at least come down pit road. Brock decided to go back out, and I don't know if that might not be a penalty for the 88. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Let's go back for the green flag as we get ready for what should be a doozy of a restart to finish out today's race. Still waiting on the pace car to give us the 1 to green signal. If the lights go out this time, we will restart on lap 54, giving us 7 laps to go. After the incident, everybody is still continuing. Jordan Lopez, Charles Sandfer having to come to pit road. They are trapped 1 lap down. I don't know if they, I think they gave the 88 an EOL penalty, so he's starting towards the rear of the lead lap cars. And then you got other cars a lap down, Ryan Butcher, M McIntire, Johnny Gardner, and Diego Yepez. And they will obviously not be on the inside line since we're restarting with less than 10 to go. Well, we managed to make it almost 50 laps without having a caution come out, even though there might possibly have needed to be a caution when we had that wreck on the front straightaway that did not bring out a yellow. But regardless, we've been able, for the most part, to go green here, so the likelihood that we will go green to the end, pretty good. We'll see if that's going to be the case, though, as Benjamin Miles, Vince Almariego, Trent Dunham, Chris Dollerton, they're the top 4, but you've got the 0 Diego Yepez there, who is multiple laps down. He's going to be in between 4th place Dollerton and 5th place Ryan Acosta, so we'll see if he's up to speed. Also Ryan Butcher, who's got some damage, and I believe is off the lead lap. He's going to be starting up here in the midst of the top 10 also, so maybe slower traffic could play a factor into the outcome of this race. For now, the top 4 are going to be clear of lap traffic as we get ready to turn them loose. Green flag back in the air. 7 laps to go at Dover. And Wyatt Quail wasting no time. He's going to get the top position away. And he's going to open up about half a car length to himself and Benjamin Miles. Miles, I don't know if he spun the tires or not, but Wyatt Quail was definitely ready for the drop of the green. Chris Dollerton's going to move his way by Trent Dunham. That is for the 3rd position. Miles wants the lead back. Little contact as they head into turn 1. Now Benjamin Miles restarted the race from the lead. He got the lead at the line from Wyatt Quail on the outside lane. Now he's trying to get the inside line working against the 41. And there you see the outside line prevail off turn 4. Quail will hang on to the top position, at least for now. That 0 Diego Yepez obviously up to speed, keeping pace with the top 4. Ryan Butcher, that 24 back there, a little bit off the pace as he's holding up 5th place on back. Battle is on for 3rd. Trent Dunham to the inside of Chris Dollerton. This time around, we're going to see 4 laps to go here at Dover. They're backed up from 5th on back. That's M Haas challenging Ryan Acosta. Carter Friesen's there. J Jefferson right there, who had a great pit strategy. One of the first to hit pit road when we had the cycle of pit stops. Friesen makes it 3 wide up the middle. Jefferson on the bottom. Acosta up top. Contact! Norman into the wall. Shelly down on the apron. He comes back up into Poteet. We've got a caution. We've got a wreck. And that's going to bring out the yellow and end this race. We're racing back to the caution. This is going to end the race under yellow. Wyatt Quail out in front by 2.5 car lengths. And this caution very well might give him the win here today in the AAA 400. They tried 3 wide off of turn 4. And there you see Dylan Young on the apron. And he had to teleport to pit road. There's the badly mangled 7 of M McIntire. Looks like he got caught up in this wreck. Dylan Young, more importantly, came into this race in the playoff standings. He doesn't have a win, but I believe he was in the 14th seed coming into today's race. McIntire's on pit road. Jack Mitchell, Keith Batson, Johnny Gardner, who already was off the lead lap. Second incident he's been in today. The bad luck continues for Adam Garcia. Dylan Young, we saw teleport there, is Cole Baker. He's been having a really struggling year. James Shelly, our Kentucky winner. I think it all started really with him. And he got a lot of damaged cars back here, too. A lot of former winners. Rogers, Shelton, Kyle Mathews. Matthew Rodriguez looks like he got some damage out of that. Another driver who came in the playoffs via points up to this particular point in time. Trey Wright's got damage. Two-time winner William Brock, Benny Watson, couple of former winners there. Charles Sandfer, all three of the Retro Racing Enterprises cars had damage. There's Carson Gum. So that's 3 of the 4 Backmarker Motorsports Camrys that got into the wreck. And there's Dylan Poteet, who contact between himself and James Shelly, I think, triggered that wreck. And you can see the left side damage he sustained. Well, we're going to have to take a look back and see what brought out the caution, but more importantly, the white flag was displayed the last time they hit the line. The checkered flag is in the hand of the officials, and Wyatt Quail, who was one of the 3 drivers the last time we were on a concrete track at Bristol, looked like he was going to be in the hunt for the victory. A scoring snafu took him out of the running, and maybe getting some concrete redemption here today at the Monster Mile. He's going to get his first win of the season, and he's going to take the checkered flag here today at Dover. It's not only his first win of the season, it's the first win as well for Joanna Atwood Motorsports. And Wyatt Quail, who came into this race 36th in the standings, we'll have to wait and see if this win's going to move him into the top 30 in points. If not, they've at least got a win now, and now their goal is going to be trying to get into the top 30 to have their win count towards a playoff position. As Wyatt Quail has taken the checkered flag along with the caution flag, let's go back and see why the yellow flag flew in the closing stages of today's race at Dover. Well, it was getting down to the end of the race, so everybody's fighting for what they can. They got the lap machine of Ryan Butcher up on the outside line, and looks like the contact really began between Shelly and Michael Norman. Looks like Shelly might have gotten loose out of the exit of 4, got down into Michael Norman's right rear quarter panel. Shelly goes up, hits the wall, comes back down to the apron, and there's just no grip down there. You just cannot carry as much speed as he tried to, and Poteet even came down onto the apron. Now that was kind of interesting, because Shelly might have been able to save it, but Poteet didn't give him an opportunity. And there you see Kyle Mathews, Adam Garcia, Cole Baker. There's Carson Gum in the 19 sliding. He saved it, so there must have been something further up. There you see Benny Watson on the apron. He came up in front of Shelton, Dylan Young, and Trey Wright. There's where Batson, Brock, Jose Millz, and Sandfer get involved. And Brock slides up into Dylan Young. And Carson Gum... Oh, we had another incident up here. That was with Kyle Mathews, who I think had already gotten a piece of the earlier incident. Not significantly, though, obviously. Not a whole lot of damage there, but he was down on the apron. And coming off the corner, the car just wants to go straight, and he goes straight up into Mitchell Collins, Jack Mitchell, and Carson Gum, who saved it after the first wreck. He's on that outside line, just nowhere to go. Tracks blocked completely up out of turn 2. Zach Rogers, Austin LaPlante, Matthew Rodriguez getting pieces of this. That's James Qualls, Castrol GTX Mustang there, trapped on the inside line. I don't know if he makes any contact or not, but he, along with the lap car of Jordan Lopez, they're trapped on the bottom, as this is a self-cleaning racetrack, and cars that wreck on the high side, they then slide down to the inside. Looks like Qualls got through relatively unscathed, though. And Matthew Rodriguez doesn't really have the front-end damage at this point that we saw him have when we were live. Let's see if he runs into the back of Rogers, maybe? He doesn't at this point have any damage on the front, so I'm not really sure where it came from, unless there was a stack up under pacing that I didn't see. Kyle Mathews moving up. Wondered if maybe he gets into the 57, but no, nothing like that. So I'm not sure where Matt Rod got his damage from, but he definitely sustained it somehow. Oh, wait a minute. This might be how. Shelton, I mean, all these drivers are racing back trying to get positions. They realize they're racing back to the caution, and does Shelton maybe get into Mathews? No? I mean, did they wreck coming back to the caution? Only thing I could see possibly happening is Matt Rod getting into Kyle Mathews or Shelton getting into Matt Rod. I'm not seeing that happen yet. They're coming back to the yellow. Nothing. Oh, there it is right there. Yep, stack up under pacing. 57 into the back of the 09, 02 into the back of the 57, and then I think Zach Rogers got into the back of Shelton a little bit as well. So that is what brought out the caution. We had a wreck out of turn 4, a follow-up wreck out of turn 2, a lot of torn-up race cars now after a race that for pretty much the first 75% of it, we managed to go green, and we get 2 cautions here in the closing stages. Wyatt Quail takes the win. Let's go back now and take a look at your full finishing results. So here is the way that they will finish out today's race with Wyatt Quail winning. Benjamin Miles will end up in second, and we go back to that last restart. That was, I think, where Benjamin Miles lost this race, as Quail was able to get to the inside of him, clear him, and Miles was never really able to get back to his bumper. Chris Dollerton continues on his streak of good finishes. This right here was looking like one of the struggling stories of the season. Now he's looking like he could be maybe one of the favorites heading into the playoffs. Trent Dunham, another solid outing for him as he'll bring it home 4th. How about Matt Haas? We talked about him a little bit, but we didn't really give him a whole lot of credit. He popped up into the top 5 in the closing stages. Carter Friesen, our Daytona 500 winner, his finishes have really improved last couple of weeks. He'll get 6th. J Jefferson, that guy right there probably worked Dover pit strategy at its finest. He was one of the first to hit pit road under the cycle of pit stops, and he was able to fight his way up into the top 10 to finish 7th. Ryan Acosta faded back late. He'll finish in 8th. Michael Norman managed to get his way up there to 9th after we saw he had contact with Shelly, but he kept it straight, kept it going, so he keeps himself possibly in a playoff position. And Jesse Turner, we didn't really talk a whole lot about him. He had good starting track position, qualified well, but kind of faded back after getting kicked up to the high side, but he managed to keep himself up inside of the top 10. Now, as we look down at the remainder of the finishing results, bear in mind that I'm pretty sure down to Zach Rogers finishing in 28th, those cars actually did finish on the lead lap. The pace car came to pit road, everybody started slowing on the racetrack, and when the official standings took place, some cars had not crossed the start-finish line, so they got scored a lap down. So from down to 28th, I'm pretty certain those drivers managed to finish on the lead lap. So Ryan Butcher was the first car 1 lap down, and you can see the drivers that finished out of the race after the incident we saw take place there. Charles Sandfer, Adam Garcia, Cole Baker, Dylan Young, Jack Mitchell, Keith Batson, Matt McIntire, and Johnny Gardner all out due to that wreck that took place with about 2 laps to go. Took place too late in the race for Diego Yepez, who fell multiple laps down. He will still finish in dead last. And with Wyatt Quail winning, I'm not certain with him that he would move into the top 30 in points. So right now, if we looked at the 4 drivers that came into this race in the playoffs via points, the first one, of course, Levi McIntire, he finished in 15th, so he'll probably still be in the playoffs heading into next week. Matthew Rodriguez, he finished 26th, very close to the tail end of the lead lap. Dylan Young out of the race in 35th, and Michael Norman, as we mentioned, managing to finish up in 9th place. So not sure where those guys are going to be specifically, but I do know that Diego Yepez came into this race 1 point behind Michael Norman for that final playoff spot via points, and finishing dead last. This may take him out of the conversation, at least for right now. But that is going to do it here from Dover. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. Wyatt Quail picks up the victory, and he becomes the 14th different race winner in 16 races this season. His goal now, get in the top 30 in the points. If you guys enjoyed today's race, be sure to give us a video, like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We've shown you full picture results, and these are your point standings heading into next week. Next week, we go racing at the nighttime. We're going to Kansas Speedway. That's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm certain with the 2019's rule package, it's going to be very interesting to see if drivers are going to be able to keep the lead, or will we see a lot of lead changes, and will it come down to pit strategy as well? Kansas seems to always be one of those fuel strategy type races. We'll have to see if that's going to be the case. But we will see you guys next time, as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA offline racing at its best. So long from the Monster Mile.